Business Access TV is here at the JSC Core Competencies to Excel as a Corporate Secretary. I'm your host, Andrew Laidley. Please stay with us.
I wish to welcome you to yet another workshop, Corporate Secretaries Workshop. As you know, we have these workshops each year, and the reason we continue to do so is that we feel that we should be at the cutting edge of any changes that is occurring in whether locally or globally. We feel that the workshops have been beneficial to us so far, and that with each day when we have these changes, we should continue to look at educating the persons in this industry. This morning and this workshop is very special, as we will be hosting, it is being hosted in association with the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators. And as we move towards introducing the Corporate Governance Index, I think today is especially important so that we can see how this can be incorporated into what we do as company secretaries and others within the industry. It is especially important that we look at this to see how our companies will score higher in terms of corporate governance. Today is intended to be a very good workshop based on the persons who will be presenting. So I invite you to stay tuned, ask the relevant questions, and ensure that when we leave here, we can implement what we have learned.
The Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators is an institution that certifies secretaries, chartered secretaries, and I believe it is the only institution in the world that does that. It's incorporated by Royal Charter and has its base in England, London, England. And our dear leader, Simon Osborne, is the CEO of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries. In Jamaica, we have the Association of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators, which is a branch of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries. Today, we are very happy to be hosting this seminar with the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and I hope that what we present today, you might find something to take away from it, because we are going to try to give you something practical that you can use in your everyday life.
Governance has to suit each jurisdiction. One size cannot fit all. Even within a peer group of companies engaged in similar activities, similar business, because the dynamic is going to be different, because the business conditions are going to be different, the governance framework will necessarily be different. And as you comply or explain, also within a peer group of companies doing the same, broadly the same activity, you will find that they comply in different ways. And that's the beauty of a code of principles. So what do we mean by governance? The Cadbury definition, the process by which an organization is directed or controlled. The other perceived virtue of corporate governance on the part of politicians and policymakers is that it leads to increased opportunities and choice for all. And that's one of those wonderful glib expressions that rolls off the tongue of a politician. And it sounds wonderful, doesn't it? But what on earth does it mean? As a political aspiration, it's great. Opportunities and choice for all. Hurrah, yeah, we'll all vote for that. But can we really expect corporate governance to deliver such an overtly political objective? I'll leave that one hanging in the air. Poor old Bob Diamond, he gets a bit of a caning over this one. He did actually say that corporate governance is not how you behave when you think no one is watching. He did actually say that. But I think it's a good reminder that, there's no point trying to do one thing, say one thing and do another. That sort of hypocrisy, you'll get found out eventually. The truth will always out. Governance is concerned with the exercise of power, the role of directors, the responsibilities of shareholders, and how those are balanced. And it also deals with disclosure, transparency, accountability, internal control, and making sure you avoid that concentration of power in too few hands. Hence, the desire, it's now become standard, certainly in the UK. America's finding it harder, but actually separating the roles of chairman and chief executive so that you achieve a more constructive tension at the top levels in the C-suite. What are some of the governance hot topics? Well, I don't know what it's like here, but remuneration in the UK never ceases to amaze me. And the way in which non-executive directors serving on remuneration committees aren't smelling the coffee, I just don't get it. But and the United States is just as bad. And what that is leading to is remuneration which is detached from performance, or levels of remuneration detached from performance, are just leading to increasing inequality of wealth. And I think that could lead to unfortunate consequences socially. And it's something that has to be tackled. Hot topic. Legal risk has risen up the scale of corporate risks. The whole board diversity thing. Gender is a major factor. But there is no doubt about it, board behaviour improves the more women join the board. And I know that from my own experience, funny enough, in a charity where I was deputy chair and I chaired the nomination committee. And I had to wield the knife. I removed 6 older male trustees, brought in 4 ladies, all of whom were younger. The average age came down. The speed with which business was transacted improved. Shorter board meetings, I'll drink to that. Made a difference. Now that's one example, but I think there's no doubt about it that I think the presence of women in boardrooms adds beneficially to the decision-making process. You've got the whole responsible capitalism issue, the managing of stakeholders and accountability to wider stakeholders. And that, interestingly, has led to the appointment of a committee now for a code of governance for private companies. I think that's long overdue in the UK. When you think about some of the bigger private companies, and I'm sure you've got them here, if one of those collapses, the impact on the economy and on the government could be significant. And then the whole question of board evaluations. Following the financial crisis, ICSA did some work on boardroom behaviours, the conclusion of which were 4 uncomfortable truths. Well-run companies can make strategic and sometimes catastrophic misjudgments. Risk management not properly overseen, monitored or reviewed by the board. Often it was just left to the audit committee. It's a board responsibility, is oversight of risk. Remuneration and incentivization not aligned with shareholders' interests, and a failure to inform stakeholders, not just shareholders, stakeholders, sufficiently. That work we did identified 3 areas needing attention. Institutional. Are corporate governance policies and architecture fit for purpose? Has management installed adequate processes and systems? And are directors exhibiting appropriate behaviours? So we had there the institutional, the organisational, and the behavioural. Now, we identified in that work that good practice boardroom behaviour was characterised by those 9 features. So clear understanding of the board's role. The board is there to oversee the management of the business. The board is not there to manage the business. And non-executive directors forget it's a case of noses in, fingers out. They smell the state of the business, they don't finger it. Does this business pass the smell test? Once the non-executive directors start interfering in the management of the business, it's very hard to hold an executive to account. You can't. You've syndicated the responsibility and the liability. Appropriate deployment of knowledge, skills, experience and judgment. So what balance of those have you got on the board? Independent thinking. Assumptions and established orthodoxy need to be questioned. Challenge has to be constructive. If people come onto a board full of suspicion or just trying to show off what a tough guy I am, I'll show these executives up for a load of incompetent idiots. If that's the mentality which a non-executive has, they're asking for trouble because it will just lead to tension, in fact, conflict on the board. Non-executive directors have to be constructive friends of the management team. Can't overemphasize that. Constructive friends. Yes, and it's knowing how to challenge in a way which doesn't put people's backs up. And it requires a skill, emotional intelligence for a start. Yes, there has to be rigorous debate. The decision-making environment has to be supportive. There needs to be a shared vision. And for the chair, it's vital to close each item of business in a timely way, not let it go round and round and round ad nauseam. That's not the way to do it.
We go to a short break. More when we return.
Take the guesswork out of improving your IT infrastructure. The field of IT changes so quickly that it can be hard to plan a strategy while keeping up with technological advancements. Yet, without a strategic roadmap built on data-driven insights, your staff can be overworked, spending excessive time putting out technical fires, instead of focusing on strategic tasks that fulfill core business needs. Our IT consulting services are the first step towards transforming your enterprise IT and improving your business efficiency. Our experts have the industry experience and best-in-class tools to methodically assess your entire support operation. We look at your IT support services holistically, identifying improvement areas that will have the greatest impact on employee productivity, service levels, and customer satisfaction. Need help improving your infrastructure uptime? Contact us to discuss a solution that will provide you greater productivity and efficiency. Email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Welcome back to BATV's coverage of the JSE core competencies to excel as a corporate secretary.
We are now going to have a panel discussion, as you will see, and members of the local chapter will be participating, and Mrs. Henry Pottinger is going to be the moderator, and they're going to be talking about things that happen in a very practical way.
How rewarding is your job as a company secretary? Any tips that you can give to budding company secretaries, people who are waiting in the wings to take over your jobs? For me, I enjoy my job. I will not work anywhere else until I retire than with KPMG. As to rewarding, yes, it is rewarding in many respects. I like to see that the people who I work with, they are enabled, they are eloquent, they can answer questions from shareholders, they deal with matters like that with alacrity, and they're very responsive.
It's not glamorous in the sense that if the reward you're looking for is your name in lights, it's clearly the wrong profession for you. So I'm glad that Liz actually said the word enable because you are an enabler. You're a facilitator. You know, we all understand, certainly after listening to Simon this morning, the importance of corporate governance. Well, all of that falls on your shoulders for you to administer. You pull it together. You keep all the moving pieces going in unison, and you don't, there will be no naming lights, certainly not where I operate for that. So if that's what you, but it can be, obviously it's very rewarding in other ways. Just in terms of tips, I can't stress enough, well, there are two main things I'll say. One is that just you have to have a high level of administrative capability, and whether that, and obviously you can't do it on your own. So whether it means an internal team or going for external support, you have to be extremely organized, and you have to make sure that you create a lot of systems which allow you to ensure that you comply with all the requirements that you have, which are numerous. Other than that, I can't stress enough the importance of what we keep calling soft skills, but they're not soft at all because they're critical for the role. Definitely, there's a higher level of judgment and diplomacy and management of relationships of people which is involved. You know, we talked a little bit earlier about the relationship between, the tension between management and the board, which can sometimes exist. And in that case, your role is critical because you really are the diplomat who has to kind of navigate those two relationships and those two different sets of roles within a company. So that there's no, I can't stress enough how important it is to make sure that you develop your relationships and that you manage personalities.
I recall some years ago I did a document for my chairman, and you know, I went to him and I'm explaining to him what it is that I'm doing and what it is that he needs. He says to me, where I must sign. So it gives you that level of confidence and trust, and to ensure that what you're doing and what you're presenting is correct. And you must build up that whole self-integrity so that, you know, it is not questioned. And I feel that if I have to take something to somebody and they ask me, so where is this or what is that? I do my own self-assessment, because when I do a document, it says where, what, when, why, who, and so forth. So I ask myself those questions so that, you know, you can develop that trust when you're working with somebody.
The job is really very, very interesting. The things that come across your desk are amazing, dynamic, invigorating, challenging. Scope is very, very diverse. Corporate governance has really taken its hold, rather, on Jamaica and within the Caribbean. There is just so much that we have to learn and offer to our clients and to ourselves. Certainly, if someone is looking at this as a profession, I think corporate governance is the way to go. That's just me personally. You will always assist and help your clients, you know, but there's always a nuance on what has occurred, what should have been done, and how we're going to correct it. And that's what I love about it. And working with PwC and my team, we have just so much to do. You've got to be very structured, lists, and more lists. You have to be very detail-oriented and be able to pick up, and very meticulous, and be able to pick up errors very easily.
In my role as a corporate secretary, the reward for me is I am constantly learning. Every day there is something that I didn't know, or something now that I have to go and know. And it is, no 2 days are ever the same. Especially in our company, which we tend to be very entrepreneurial, the ideas come, and as a company secretary and as compliance, I have to research to say, can it be done, can it not be done? Would this be in breach of anything? I would also advise that the regulators are good allies, you know. From where I sit, I call them a lot because I need their guidance. They are more intimate with the laws and regulations and how they interpret what I am asking them to just bounce things off. So I would ask you to use them up. You know, the company's office, the stock exchange, the Bank of Jamaica, the FSC, they're all very open to questions. No one has said no to me yet. Even if they don't know the answer, they'll research it and get back to us. And our real success lies in having a great team behind us, including KPMG.
Thank you.
And our team in Rep, Trinidad and Jamaica that supports me, because we just could not do it alone.
Thanks a lot, ladies. I hope then that those of you in the audience found something informative, instructive, that you can take away from this panel discussion.
Coming up after the break, what companies need to know about the Corporate Governance Index.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Hi, it's Novia MacDonald White, Senior Associate Editor at the Jamaica Observer. And guess what? You are watching Business Access Television.
Welcome back to BATV's coverage of the JSE core competencies to excel as a corporate secretary.
So what is this corporate governance index that we have been talking about? And it really is a tool that has been developed to measure how all entities that are listed, at least surely for us listed on the stock exchange, how it conforms to various established corporate governance principles. Now, typically, the index has a numerical value, right, where the extremes of the values are overall good and poor. And also, it assists in improving the transparency and ultimately FDI for countries. Because research has shown that countries and surely listed companies, like using the stock exchanges that have a corporate governance index, especially when there's not very strong regulatory environment for them to operate within, the corporate governance index has actually helped to create greater investment opportunities. And what the research has shown is that countries with the indices have shown significant growth in corporate governance practices. So let's talk a little about the corporate governance index in Jamaica. And the index has been developed by the Jamaica Stock Exchange. As I indicated before, it's the first for the Caribbean region. The process that is being utilized is that it's going to be automatic, so that whether you're listed on the junior market or you're listed on the main market, you are going to be assessed using the index manual. So the purpose of the index, as stated by the Jamaica Stock Exchange, is to first of all periodically measure listed companies' conformance to required corporate governance principles and practices. It also should help to give companies an opportunity to differentiate themselves from other companies, because while all companies are listed and expected to be guided by certain principles and certain rules and certain legislations, you can differentiate yourself by the score that you probably will get based on the fact that you are adhering to a number of these principles. It will also provide a benchmark by which other parties, external parties, locally and internationally now, can gauge companies' adherence to corporate governance practices.
Every year, we have a workshop for the corporate secretary because we realize that they are an integral part of the corporate governance and effectiveness of publicly listed companies, whether it's on the junior exchange or the big board. And we were fortunate in that the head of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of the UK was coming on a visit to Jamaica to meet with the Jamaica Stock Exchange, because we are in the process of representing them in providing training and continuing development for corporate secretaries, persons who want to be corporate secretaries. And as a matter of fact, there is an upcoming fast track that's going to be available for attorneys and chartered accountants who invariably are performing the duties of the chartered secretary, and what it will allow them to do is to have the formal chartered secretary designation. So we felt that this was very important to continue to lift the profile of the chartered secretary and their role in listed companies.
I thought the conference was excellent, actually. The seminar was excellent. It touched on very important aspects that are critical for the development of our businesses within Jamaica and internationally, and for our companies, concentrating on corporate governance and the amendments that have just occurred in the Companies Act and why corporate governance is so important. So I encourage everyone to be at the next seminar.
The governance is here to stay. There's no doubt about that. And it's the proportionate application of governance principles which is so important in all types of organisation. But in order to be able to do that, every organisation needs to be clear about its organisational purpose. Then the board, the directors, need to be clear about the key values by which that purpose is going to be delivered. Only then can you devise a governance framework for your particular type of organisation. Every organisation, however big, however small, needs to do that.
Who does corporate governance benefit again?
Obviously, it benefits the companies themselves, it benefits their shareholders as the owners, or if it's an unincorporated body, the members. But it also benefits wider society. I think that's the important point. Their employees, those with whom they do business, and ultimately it benefits the government, because if an enterprise fails and is employing people and it fails because of poor governance practices, the ultimate responsibility financially was going to fall on the government, for example in social security payouts for unemployed people. I think also if companies fail because of poor governance, it doesn't reflect well on the country. And for a country that is trying to entice inward investment, if the governance framework isn't up to snuff, as we say, then that could have a potentially negative effect. So good governance, it just makes sense. There's plenty of anecdotal evidence too that good governance enhances reputation. It also, for organisations, particularly commercial ones, reduces the cost of capital. It just makes sense.
That's it from us here at the JSC Core Competencies to Excel as a Corporate Secretary. I've been your host, Andrew Laidley, and thanks for tuning in to Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
My name is Herbert Chung, Executive Chairman, Co-Founder, Honeybun 1982 Limited. You're watching Business Access TV. Serious about business.
there is no need for panic, hysteria, fear-mongering, or spreading misinformation. This will only detract from the efforts of the government and redirect time and precious resources to correcting false information and resolving unnecessary disputes.
If you have queries, concerns, or you've been experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, contact the Ministry of Health and Wellness at 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. You may also call 888-754-7792, 876-542-5998, 876-542-6006, or 876-542-6007. Let's all play our part to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and be COVID-19 free. Your Jamaica Magazine program continues with a word of advice. Stay with us.
An important message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. What to do if you think you have been exposed or are experiencing signs and symptoms of COVID-19. Immediately call 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. In addition, you should stay at home. Don't go to work, school, or any public place. Do not use public transport, and avoid visitors to your home. You may need to do this for up to 14 days to reduce the spread of the infection. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Let's hear Prime Minister Andrew Holness's plans for the 2020-2021 financial year, including additional measures being taken by the government to stop COVID-19 in its tracks.
We are in a better position than we have been in decades to address the circumstances which now confront us. Jamaica has 16 confirmed cases of COVID-19, including one death. In collaboration with the health authorities, the Director General ODPEM has given the following directions to regulate the movement of persons, animals, and vehicles into and out of and within the Corn Peace community, effectively placing the community under quarantine for the next 14 days to allow for the public health investigations to be completed. Even before our first COVID-19 case, the Ministry of Health and Wellness had developed a comprehensive plan looking at various infection outbreak scenarios and mitigating actions. We are providing financial and other support to the most vulnerable in the society, and this includes a number of businesses, MSMEs in particular, that have been and will be severely impacted. We are also waiving custom duties on masks, hand sanitizers, gloves, and liquid hand soap for a 90-day period. We are also waiving the special consumption tax on inputs such as alcohol in the production of hand sanitizers. The government will make an additional allocation of $2 million per constituency to be used exclusively for COVID-19 related interventions. Minister Darrell Vaz and Minister Desmond McKenzie have been tasked to lead a special task force to develop, implement, and monitor a program of trucking water to communities across Jamaica. An initial allocation of $1 million will be made available to members of Parliament for regular trucking of water in response to the COVID-19 crisis. The Ministry of Local Government will increase its Black Tank program in terms of distributing tanks to communities and the water shop program that they have. We will be putting in place some emergency measures for the procurement of water trucks. But we are calling up on private contractors to come and work with us. We have set up an email address for communication with the NWC to ensure that you are on the schedule, on the route for water distribution. We call on the opposition as well as the private sector NGOs and all Jamaicans to unite at this time of national crisis. Together, we can and we will overcome this challenge. I will show you the new Jamaica that is emerging, the place of choice to live, work, do business, raise family, and retire in paradise. We are in a better position than we have been in decades to address the circumstances which now confront us. 20 successive quarters of economic growth. We have spent $45 billion to improve the capacity and capability of the country's security architecture, and projects to spend a further $15.9 billion in the upcoming fiscal year 2020 to 2021. We have made and continue to make unprecedented investments in improving our health and socio-cultural infrastructure, our built and natural environment, our road networks, our water and sewage, our national security apparatus, our education and training, our judicial system, and our investment climate. We have not reached everyone yet, Mr. Speaker. We haven't gotten every pump repaired. We haven't gotten every road repaired or every school. But one thing is clear, Mr. Speaker. Jamaica has never seen a period of time when we have done so much work and reached so much people. It is the commitment of this government, in spite of COVID, in spite of the fallout in the bauxite alumina sector, in spite of all the challenges that we face, that this decade must be the decade of growth for Jamaica.
There are many fake and unverified information abound about the COVID-19 disease. We want to put an end to that by giving you accurate and credible data on this pandemic. Get the facts next.
Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses found in both animals and humans. Some infect people and are known to cause illness ranging from the common cold to more severe diseases such as Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS, and Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome, SARS. Research reveals that SARS-CoV was transmitted from civet cats to humans in China in 2002 and MERS-CoV from dromedary camels to humans in Saudi Arabia in 2012. A novel coronavirus, novel meaning new strain of the coronavirus not previously identified in humans, was identified after an outbreak was reported in Wuhan, China in December 2019. It has subsequently spread to a number of other countries through human-to-human contact, and the World Health Organization has since officially named it COVID-19. The incubation period for viruses is the time between infection and the start of clinical symptoms of the disease. Based on information from other coronavirus diseases, such as MERS and SARS, the incubation period of the 2019 novel coronavirus, or COVID-19, is determined to be up to 14 days. As with other respiratory illnesses, this disease can cause mild symptoms, including a runny nose, sore throat, cough, and fever. For coronavirus generally, the person is most infectious when displaying symptoms. It is difficult to identify COVID-19 based on symptoms alone, as they are typically the same as infections of the flu or cold. A laboratory test is therefore needed to confirm if someone has the coronavirus. The infection can be more severe for some persons and can lead to pneumonia or breathing difficulties. More rarely, the disease can be fatal. Older persons and people with pre-existing medical conditions such as asthma, diabetes, and heart disease are deemed more vulnerable to becoming severely ill with the virus. The new coronavirus spreads primarily through contact with an infected person. It spread through respiratory droplets generated when a person coughs or sneezes, or through droplets of saliva or discharge from the nose. To prevent spread, it's important that everyone practice good respiratory hygiene.
It's a similar respiratory precaution as we would take for influenza.
For example, sneeze or cough into a flexed elbow, or use a tissue and discard it immediately into a closed bin. Washing your hands frequently with soap and water or using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer eliminates the virus if it is on your hands.
Washing of hands is very, very important because any kind of droplets that get on your hand, you can transfer to your face, and you can therefore get it into your ear passages or into the eyes and cause an infection.
When someone who is infected with a respiratory disease like COVID-19 coughs or sneezes, that person projects small droplets containing the virus. If you are too close, you can breathe in the virus.
The general precautions in terms of making sure that you keep your distance, 3 feet is what we recommend.
Keeping this distance between yourself and other people, particularly those who are coughing, sneezing, and have a fever, helps to prevent those persons who don't have the virus from getting it.
If you are sick, to stay away from other persons, that means not going to work or school.
Someone who is coughing and sneezing should wear an approved mask where necessary.
Wearing a mask is only for the sick or for medical persons who are doing a procedure. Actually, if you go ahead and wear a mask, you might be the one who would get the infection. Because you put on a mask and you see it happening, they put it on, it starts sweating, they start playing around with the mask, it's getting moist, it allows the infection to get in easier. So you are actually exposing yourself. And so we have to be very careful how we use masks and other protective equipment.
Data collected by the WHO so far suggests that the coronavirus may survive a few hours on surfaces, and applying disinfectants to surfaces can kill the virus, making it no longer possible to infect people in this way. To avoid getting infected, do not touch your eyes, nose, or mouth after touching any surface. The Ministry of Health and Wellness recommends that people who have flu-like symptoms such as a cough, fever, or difficulty breathing should visit the doctor immediately. Inform healthcare providers of any overseas travel in the 14 days before your symptoms developed, or if you've been in close contact with someone who has been sick with respiratory symptoms. To date, there's no specific medicine recommended to prevent or treat the new coronavirus or COVID-19. But persons infected with the virus should receive appropriate care to relieve and treat symptoms, and those with severe illness should receive optimized supportive care. Remember, practice good respiratory and hand hygiene, and when necessary, see your doctor.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
As government implements measures to contain the coronavirus 2019 disease, we urge you to take responsibility for your own health. Use tissue to cover your nose and mouth when you're coughing, sneezing, or blowing your nose, and be sure to discard the used tissue in a bin. Wash hands with soap and water regularly for at least 20 seconds after you've coughed, sneezed, or blown your nose. If soap and water is not readily available, use hand sanitizer with at least 62% alcohol. Avoid touching your mouth, eyes, or nose, and stay away from persons who are visibly ill. Ensure you put distance between yourself and other people in social spaces. Clean and disinfect regularly used surfaces, such as cell phones, tablets, tables, doorknobs, light switches, and countertops. Toilets, faucets, sinks, keyboards, car doors, and car seats should be washed and disinfected frequently. While we contain the COVID-19 disease, we highlighted the importance of having clean, safe water.
So the first technique that will be explained today is the technique of boiling. What we advise is for you to obtain clean water, water that you can see through. Then you would place it into a pot, you'd cover the pot and allow for it to boil. Allow for rolling boil for about 5 minutes. Then it would look something like this. Then after you would have achieved the 5 minutes of rolling boil, then you'd allow for it to cool then you would place it inside of another container.
Use an airtight container to store your water. If the water is not used within a few weeks, be sure to carry out additional treatment of the water. That may include boiling the water once more.
Water is precious. So we encourage everyone to practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. Replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
Do you have a runny nose? Is your throat sore? Are you experiencing a dry cough? How about a fever or difficulty breathing? You may be infected with the coronavirus 2019, also known as COVID-19. Be sure to call the Ministry of Health and Wellness's helpline, 888-663-5683. If you want to recover from this and other respiratory illness, or simply boost your immune system, find out how in this next feature.
If you're like most kids, you've probably heard at least one parent say, "Don't forget to take your vitamins. Eat your fruits and salads. They're packed with vitamins." And you heed the advice. But do you know why? Do you know what exactly vitamins are?
Vitamins are substances that are found in foods we eat. Our body needs them to work properly. Each vitamin has a special role to play. For example, vitamin D in milk helps us develop strong bones and teeth. Vitamin A in carrots helps us to see at night. Vitamin C in oranges helps our bodies to heal from a cut. And B vitamins in leafy green vegetables help our bodies make protein and energy. There are 2 categories of vitamins, fat-soluble and water-soluble. Fat-soluble vitamins are the ones called A, D, E, and K.
When we eat foods that contain fat-soluble vitamins, the essential nutrients are stored in the fatty tissues of our bodies and our livers until our bodies need them.
The water-soluble vitamins are C and B complex. These cannot be stored in our bodies and will dissolve in water before our bodies can absorb them. Any vitamin C or B that our bodies do not use pass through our systems, mostly when we urinate. So they need to be replaced regularly to ensure a fresh supply every day.
But let's break it down and take a look at one of these vitamins, C.
Vitamin C is often referred to as the cold-fighting vitamin. It is also known as a wonder worker because it plays an important role in building and maintaining our tissues. Doctors say it can enhance the function of the immune system and plays a role in the formation of important enzymes in the body. Vitamin C is important because it protects the body from skin diseases, respiratory infections, and cardiovascular problems.
According to nutritionists, human beings cannot produce their own supply of vitamin C, so we have to obtain it through our diet.
Vitamin C is found in citrus and other fruits such as oranges, limes, lemons, tangerines, grapefruit, papaya, strawberries, melons, and cantaloupes. It can also be found in vegetables like tomatoes, broccoli, green and red bell peppers, potatoes, peas, raw lettuce, and cabbage.
Vitamin C can be lost easily during cooking, particularly frying, so it's recommended that people steam their vegetables to minimize loss.
Vitamin C is also good for preserving the body from aches, pains, and heart disease. If we do not have enough vitamin C in our systems, it could lead to health complications. Diseases or ailments may include gum bleeding, skin discoloration, lack of energy, tooth decay, poor wound healing, easy bruising, loss of appetite, and pain in the joints. According to medical experts, there are certain groups of persons who can easily use up ascorbic acid, that is, vitamin C found in citrus and green vegetables, more rapidly than others. These are alcohol consumers, smokers, diabetics, individuals under stressful conditions or fever, and the elderly.
It is important to remember that vitamin C is also a highly effective antioxidant.
For additional information on vitamin C, consult your doctor or nutritionist. You can also get valuable tips from any government health institution close to you. So be health-wise.
As individuals, we have to act in smart ways, follow advice and information provided by the government. I urge you, ignore the fake news, stop circulating the nonsense that is being put sometimes out there. Use your own sense of proper context. So at this stage, you can rest assured that this government is going to communicate with you. We are going to use all channels to provide you with correct, legitimate, accurate information and timely information, no matter what hour of the night.
What can a little germs do?
Pink eye running belly, even flu. Germs can make them happen to you.
Put germs on a manners with these. Cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze. Always wash your hand with water and soap. Keep dirty hands from your eyes and your nose and your mouth. You don't want to be sick, take care. Practice every day, no germs round here. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Improving overall health is an essential tool in fighting off illnesses such as COVID-19. An important weapon in this fight are meals rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which help reduce inflammation. And of course, inflammation prevents one's immune system from combating respiratory illnesses. Find out why fish such as salmon, trout, mackerel, sardines, and tuna should be part of your diet.
We all love our protein. Chicken, beef, pork, but how often do we eat fish? Is it only at Easter time or when you're at the beach? Incorporating more fish into your diet can be very beneficial to your health. Compared to red meats and poultry, fish has far less calories and cholesterol.
It's the saturated fats and the trans fats that our bodies use to make cholesterol. And fish and seafood have very little saturated fat and trans fat. So in truth and in fact, that makes it a very healthy source of protein.
Fish also has iron, which is important for good reasoning and memory, iodine, which can prevent mental problems in children, and selenium, vitamins, and carotenoids, which are antioxidants. Who knew that we could get so many nutrients from fish? And that's not all. Incorporating fish into our diet can even reduce the chances of developing certain diseases.
Studies have in fact shown that people who have a higher intake of fish compared to other meat sources have less heart disease, they suffer from fewer mood disorders, and they have less cognitive decline with age, so less dementia.
This is due to omega-3 fatty acids, a nutrient that is only found in a few other food sources, such as walnuts and flax seeds. But oily fish, such as sardines, tuna, mackerel, salmon, and trout, are excellent sources of omega-3s and are readily available at your convenience in supermarkets. So we want to add fish into our diet. In what ways can we do this?
So escovitch fish is one of our favorites. Now the onions and the carrots and the vinegar and the pimento, that's all fine. But we don't want to do a lot of deep frying. Deep frying adds calories. Nothing something like a nice steamed fish, a nice roast fish. And when you roast your fish, you can stuff it with wonderful vegetables like callaloo and so on. So we have to find other ways. Many of us have broilers as a part of our stove and we've never utilized it. We don't know how it's used. And that gives us, I think, the closest taste to fried without adding a lot of oil.
So we've got different styles of cooking the fish, but what about flavor? Jamaicans love adding salt, but fish is already salty. Wouldn't that be too much sodium?
If we utilize other things like lime and lemon juice and or fresh seasonings or scotch bonnet pepper or onions or scallion, we can make our fish flavorful without adding a lot of extra sodium.
That sounds really tasty, but watch out for bones. Make sure to debone fish before giving your children. Even if the fish is bought deboned, check for fine bones with your fingers. If you're not careful, you could end up with a medical emergency. The recommended serving size per week is only 8 to 9 ounces of fish, or 2 to 3 servings per week. With an array of health benefits and a variety of ways to cook it, don't miss out on this lifestyle choice. Make a positive impact on your health by adding more fish to your diet.
Practice good hygiene by washing your hands frequently using soap and water. Here's how you should do it while conserving water. Turn on the tap to wet your hands, then turn off the pipe. Lather your hands and the tap with soap. Turn on the tap and wash your hands, back, front, and in between fingers. Use some of the water to wash off the tap, then turn it off. Dry your hands with disposable hand towels. If you don't have running water, use a hand rub containing 62% or more alcohol. If hand sanitizers are not available, rubbing alcohol, Dettol, white rum, or household bleach will do the trick. And if all else fails, let hand washing and the handling of potable water be a two-person event. Each person will take turns pouring and washing hands with sitting water. Now is a good time to consider installing a tap on your containers to reduce the risk of water contamination. Faucets can be easily attached to drums, buckets, or 5-gallon water bottles. And to ensure that the outside of the containers are clean when recapping, disinfect it with hand rub containing alcohol that's 62% or more. The 5 R's of water conservation are also necessary to practice. Reduce water wastage by investing in water-saving devices. Reuse water at least twice before discarding. Replace leaking pipes, faucets, and other plumbing equipment. Recycle wastewater and use it for gardening, car washing, or cleaning of public spaces. And reclaim water through rainwater harvesting. We all must play our part to ensure there's water to combat the coronavirus and stave off prolonged drought.
And that's how we close out Jamaica Magazine. Be sure to join us online, jis.gov.jm. We're also available on all the major social media websites and our YouTube channel. Download our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson, reminding you to practice proper hygiene and keep COVID-19 at bay.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
I started out selling out of the trunk of my car.
If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got. Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
My name is David Morrison, and I am the president of Morrison Financial Services Limited, a company that is headquartered in Toronto, Canada. We're a commercial finance company. We started in 1987, so we've been in business 31 years. We provide financing to small businesses, a variety of types. We do export financing. We provide mortgage financing for builders and developers to help them build out their projects, such as this one today. We provide financing to condominium corporations that have to do major repairs to their buildings. I've been coming to Jamaica for 30 years. I'm going to be 63 this year. I've been coming for a very long time. And I love Jamaica. The first development that I financed down here was in 1996. It was New Era Homes, who have become a major developer here, great developers. They're Angels Estate outside of Spanish Town for the National Housing Trust. And just ever since then, I've been interested in Jamaica. But more recently, we have an employee that we love at our company. His name is Adrian Bennett. And his father actually owned this land upon which we're building here and was looking for somebody to help him develop it, to put up the money and to do that. And primarily because of our affection for Adrian, we took a look at this. We had been asked once and turned it down. And then we decided we're going to get involved in this. And so it's a combination of my love for Jamaica, and we had an employee who we thought we would try to help in this way. So they're beautiful, in my view. Okay, we've done an extensive study of the market in Jamaica. We think that this development very much speaks to the market. There's 300 houses and various amenities. They're all 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, but some of the houses have additional space because they have walkouts, because the land is undulating. So it goes down, and we decided to, on the ravine portions, to make walkouts that will add a significant amount to the house. There's various different models. There's something here for everybody. And there's also great amenities. There's a clubhouse with an infinity pool and party room if you wanted to do a party there, bigger than what fits in your house. There's going to be a walking trail around here. We're looking at various different amenities. So far, every dollar that's gone into this site has come from my company. It's a substantial amount of money. We have invested approximately $15 million US, and it's going out more every day. But we're committed to seeing it all the way through, and we're excited about it. We've had several Jamaican banks inquire with us about possibly providing some of the construction financing, and there's many that want to provide financing for the purchasers. So they're represented here today, and they will be represented in all of our promotional literature. A lot of the homes are being marketed to diaspora. We're trying to get Jamaicans abroad to invest in Jamaica and to care about Jamaica as they do, but to express that care by owning a home here. I love Jamaica, but I'm not above seeing some of the problems that exist in Jamaica. I think that Jamaica is struggling to become part of the first world and to have an economy that's developed, and is struggling to deal with wealth inequality and various other social problems. And I don't believe that those problems are going to be fixed in just one generation. I think if you want to have hope for the future in Jamaica, you have to educate the children. And last year, we, Edge Hill Homes, paid the full cost to build the Boscobel Infant School. What we've done as well is we have built into the bylaws of this community association a mandatory requirement that every homeowner contribute a small amount every year to a fund managed by Food for the Poor Jamaica that will be used to support that school to make sure that they have the best computers, the best supplies, the best equipment, all the maintenance, the best teachers, and that those children grow up with a great education. And so I say to you, okay, just by owning a home in the gates of Edge Hill, just by that simple thing, you are helping to make a better future for Jamaica. The other thing that we've done, which is very special, I think, every architect, every engineer, every professional, every laborer working on this site, and I think the total is now about 200, all sourced in Jamaica. So we've created a real benefit to this community in creating jobs and creating investment and bringing investment. And we again hope that that will be an example for everybody. We think it's important that Jamaicans build this place.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
We've got 2 model homes up. We've got about 78 to 85 shells up in phase 1, and we're working towards the completion of phase 1. The home construction is very good. It's slab on grade on marl pads, and we've got aluminum forms that we source from Colombia. So it's all formed concrete construction, which is superior to a block and steel solution. As far as the craftsmen on site, it's entirely Jamaican as far as the labor and the management is concerned. And we've got housing across the street for, I think, 150 people. So we can have them close to the site, and we have access to a good skilled labor pool here in Jamaica. So we're really happy to be able to use local labor.
People welcomed the development because it was well needed, the investment was needed. It brought training, it brought job opportunities. The vast majority of the 200 were mainly females who came and learned a skill, and they were certified on the job. We have also seen the collaboration between the developers and the community, where they have done some work on the roads. They have, based on the discussions we have been having with them, have also proposed to complete the road right up to Mango Valley and to put street lights and CCTV systems on the road, which will be hooked up to the Jamaica Eye system as well. Where the development is in Edghill in St. Mary, in Western St. Mary, one of the safer parts of not only St. Mary but Jamaica. And therefore, a matter of crime, while crime is everywhere, but in this part, it's not an issue. Plus, this is going to be a gated community, and they will also have CCTV cameras throughout the development and on the main access road. Because the way the development has happened, where the whole community has been involved, people see this development not as a means of tearing down, but as a means of helping them to build up.
We are now sitting in our largest floor plan, which is the Elizabeth. It is 1,904 square feet. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a study that can either double as a study or a separate dining area. This is the larger of our 2 floor plans that you would have available to you. The smaller of the 2 would be the Diana. The Diana is 1,658 in square feet, and it is also a 3-bedroom, 2-bath that is available. Price difference would be the location. There's premium locations. We have locations that will attain ocean views, so that will be a premium. We have beautiful cul-de-sacs, which enhances your privacy of your home, and then we have oversized lots as well. Some people want more land, and they will be a great candidate to have an oversized lot. We like to maintain the integrity and maintain the value of the homes. So what we have as restrictions are we won't be adding on additional rooms to the homes, nor will we be adding fences. What I've told people in the past and other developments I've worked with like this is if you have a desire for a fence, build some landscaping. Create your fence with landscaping. It'll give you the green space as well, the nice, beautiful, lush landscaping, as well as the privacy factor that you may be looking for. We have amazing amenities here. We have a 2-story clubhouse that will have an infinity pool that will also overlook and see the ocean. And then we also have a multi-purpose court, which is a tennis court and basketball court combo. There will be 2 fitness centers, an indoor fitness center as well as an outdoor gym. So we're looking at creating in this 63 acres of community an overall lifestyle. So when that gate opens and you come into the gates of Edge Hill, we want the world to feel, you want to feel like, I'm home and I don't have to go back out there. I can go jogging. There's a jogging trail, a walking trail. So you really have an overall lifestyle here at this property. And we're looking forward to, helping to watching people enjoy their new home. We partnered with Keller Williams, our local realtors, and Roy Marsh will be leading their team. And we partnered with them to do the marketing here in Jamaica, as well as branching out to their UK and Canada offices as well. So yeah, they've become a great partner of mine, and they've just been amazing.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
I started out selling out of the trunk of my car.
If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got. Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
Cameo takes you behind the scenes of Jamaica's exploding creative industries to give you an insider's look at how creatives get the job done.
I'm really picky about how we treat our customers.
As creative people, we went a little bit over the top.
Each week, we interview innovators leading the charge in their industry. The chaos of creativity meets the stricture of structure on Business Access TV's Cameo.
What strikes me is the fact that it's a contemporary Jamaican paradise. That's the feel that it is, and just in them explaining all of the amenities that, is about to be here. You just feel like you're in the gates of paradise. It's just about an hour and a half away from Kingston, so, very easily accessible. They really touched on the safety of the property, and, that's a very big concern, especially Jamaicans that are looking to come back to Jamaica. What I really loved was the passion that the developers have poured into this project, not just as a community, a gated community, but also what it's doing for the community.
I think the price is value for money. I like the setup. I like the location. It's in the hills of St. Mary. You have a nice sea view. It has a very nice, eclectic, modern look. So I really like it.
I think it's just right in the market that you're thinking about, because when you think about a 3-bedroom with that much space, 1900 square foot, or the unit which is 1600. For the space, for the view, for where you are, I mean, it's great price. But when you think about what's going on definitely along the coast coming up in terms of the price range, and when you look at the other islands and where prices are going, this is a bargain, because you can't think of anything in any other island right now less than maybe probably 500,000 US dollars. You can't think about it. And as you see, like what's happening in Kingston, what you see what's happening all over this island, prices are moving as fast as ever. It's ready to blast off. The amount of amenities is perfect. Perfect.
I realize they're very homely. They are really good for people with small children. The master bedrooms, they are spacious, and I especially love the closet space. It's quite generous. I never usually see this kind of space closets in these kind of developments, which is good. The finish is really good, and that is something I also look for when I'm looking at units, because if the workmanship is shoddy, it does take away from the ambience of the premises. I do not know who was the decorator or the designer. They also did a good job, and how they have arranged the furniture and so on really made it an asset to the units.
The location is a little bit away from the main, but it's the general layout is pretty good. The units themselves are fairly well laid out. Maybe need a little bit more dining area on one of the smaller model. But overall, the valuation for the project, especially with the land space, is pretty good. I feel that, a lot of probably returning residents as well as locals might have a value in this project. So overall, I think it was very good.
I think the units are amazing. I personally like this one, which is the Diana, for two reasons. The size is beautiful, plus that's my daughter's name. But beside that, I think it's a great development. I think it's a great location, and it will do super well.
It's a really beautiful unit. I mean, I'd move in right away. I like the space, I like the design, the flow, and the openness. So whether you are looking to entertain friends, whether you're looking to have your family together, it's open, but yet it's close. It offers that kind of a look and feel.
I love the master bedroom. It's homely, it's comfortable. It's very inviting. When you come in, you just want to go straight into your bed. That's how beautiful it was. And it was just simple, clean, and right to the point.
This is such an exciting opportunity for us at Keller Williams Jamaica. A lot of people do not know this, but Gates of Edge Hill is the largest development that has taken place in the parish of St. Mary ever. So it's only fitting that the developers chose Keller Williams Jamaica being a part of the largest real estate franchise in the world. We're in 26 countries, and so we have buyers coming. We have 170,000 agents spread across the globe. So in Jamaica, we have 60 agents in Jamaica, all fired up and ready to sell this development. So far, everybody loves it. The size of the units, all the bedrooms are larger than anything else on the market. The homes, over 1,900 square feet for a 3-bedroom, fantastic. You won't find that anywhere else. The finishing is top-notch. The roads are made of concrete to keep a high standard, low maintenance. I mean, the quality of the workmanship is excellent. So we anticipate that we will have a tremendous uptake for both local investors and overseas investors. The real estate market in Jamaica right now is at its most exciting point. With new development orders, Kingston is developing, Oakhurst is developing, Montego Bay is developing, and now St. Mary is developing. No one knew that Jamaica would be doing so well in the real estate market right now, but everybody has an interest in Jamaica right now. Our close proximity to the United States makes it a stone throw away. All the airlifts coming through our airports, the private jets coming into the airport just down the road. We're currently in one of the best periods for real estate. So I'm very excited about the opportune time for this development to hit the market. This is a blessing for Jamaica, a development like this. We can't compare it with anything else on the market. The clubhouse has a beautiful sea view. So sea views, spacious homes, a 24-hour gated community, located within 25 minutes from Dunsroe Falls, located 5 minutes from an international airport is fantastic.
J&N Bank is here because we're interested in making the Gates of Edge Hill a preferred lender partner. Jamaica National has a developer program whereby we assist local developers in marketing their projects to the local market and, of course, Jamaicans overseas. The Jamaican diaspora is a very large community outside of Jamaica, and they want to own a piece of the rock, so we want them to come home. And Jamaica National's developer program covers multiple projects, but the Gates of Edge Hill, which is a new and upcoming project, is one that the society is very interested in participating in because it's gorgeous. The developer program is that we'll assist the developer in identifying who are potential customers. So we will pre-approve clients for them. As someone walks through the door, we will do an assessment, and that process is a pre-approval process. It's really an assessment of a person's identity and a verification of their income. And from that, we assist the developer in making a decision as to whether or not to move forward with the customer.
Your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
In this 1 degree, you're able to do many things.
I think the feel found me.
I'd rather work with the deceased than work with the living.
Let us open your mind to careers you've never considered.
Miniature model maker.
Game technician.
Animator.
Good job. Empowerment.
Career moves.
Anywhere money is, that's where I am.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our Sustainable Development Goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, cause we're winning right now.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Hey guys, I'm Candy and welcome to Chill Spot, Jamaica's ultimate leisure show. This season promises to reveal some of the hidden treasures of the lifestyle industry by taking you to the chill spots of some of Jamaica's most brilliant business minds, giving you a glimpse into how they choose to unwind and just pull a vibe. You won't want to miss what happens next. Stay tuned.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
Crime, corruption, and criminal justice. AmCham, the American Chamber of Commerce, is shining a light on these topics here at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in a luncheon that's looking at how these affect Jamaica's trade and investment potential. I'm Elon Parkinson. Let's take a look at the highlights.
One of the things that I realize is that having these forums, it provides us with an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to improve. And all members should give your organization a round of applause. Put your hands together for it. For weeks, I was talking about business unusual. For weeks, that was the last one on the economy that you guys had. And I was in cocktail conversation sounding smarter than I am just by virtue of having been in the room. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today. I'm going to apologize for the National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang. He did intend to be here, but he was called at the last minute to Parliament. I believe he has a parliamentary committee that he must be at, so they've summoned him. You know, the numbers are important in these committees to make quorum and to participate in discussions at Gordon House, so he won't be with us today. The DPP, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, is here. Thank you very much for being here with us today, as is Dirk Harrison, the acting head of the Corruption Prosecution Division at the Integrity Commission. Always glad to have Professor Anthony Clayton, a respected criminologist, here with us today. Jason Fraser is the country rep of the USAID. Thank you very much, and looking forward to hearing their presentations later today. At this time, I'm going to invite Alison Peart, the president of AmCham of Jamaica, to give the official welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. You know, we look so officious and so quiet. It's very, very important business, but I'm hoping today you're going to learn a lot more. You're going to leave here understanding more about some of the issues, and more importantly, with some solutions. Because it's one thing to speak about our issues, but if we don't find a solution, we're just a talk shop. And I love Nationwide on the radio, but we don't just want to talk, we want to come up with some solutions. So as the president of the American Chamber of Commerce in Jamaica, we thought it very important. We talk about how wonderful the economy was. Our last session was business unusual. But if we have crime issues, if people don't feel, Jamaicans don't feel comfortable going about their daily lives, if our foreign investors don't feel comfortable, if our children, who are our future, have issues, where are we as a nation? So we thought it very important to bring together a panel that would engage in the dialogue about crime, corruption, criminal justice. How does it affect our trade and investment? Because it makes no sense to talk about our GDP growing or our debt to GDP if we're dying. It makes no sense if our future is tied to crime. So this dialogue is very, 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 very important, and I'm very happy you're here with us.
Okay, the question today is how much crime and corruption and a dysfunctional justice system are actually inhibiting the development of Jamaica and inward investment. Because we don't just have one problem, we have quite a complex array of problems. And it's quite hard to know how much we should attribute to any one of these and how much any one of these is contributing to what has historically been a very low rate of growth and significant difficulties in attracting inward investment and retaining domestic capital and retaining human capital. These are the headline ones. We have one of the highest rates of violence in the world. We have a large number, a significant number of gangs. About 80% of our homicide are gang-related. The rest are primarily domestic violence. So the fact that we have a large number of gangs is clearly a major factor in maintaining one of the world's highest levels of homicide. There are fundamental challenges still in our system of governance. As I'll be going on to say in a few minutes, we have people in public life who help to create this problem with gangs and high levels of violence, and that link has never been yet severed, and that is still a challenge that we have yet to face. What, of course, that does is it undermines the moral authority of government. If you have a situation where all the bad guys are out there and everybody in government is honest and competent, it's not really very difficult to deal with the problems of crime. The problem is when the boundaries between the two are blurred and when you have criminals who are getting high-level political protection. At that point, it's much, much harder to deal with the issues. Of course, what that feeds is a culture of cynicism, low trust, and that has a great deal to do with sustaining a high level of violence. In any country where you see that people do not trust the police and do not trust the justice system, they're much more likely to have recourse to violence to solve their issues and disputes. So it's partly reflecting the fact that we've still got deep weaknesses in our system of governance. But let's put this in a little context. There's only one demographic for whom violence is the leading cause of premature morbidity, which is young males, late teens, early 20s. For every other demographic, it's actually cheeseburgers that are more likely to kill you. We've got issues with, like every other country, with steeply rising rates of non-communicable diseases. And we can't also forget the fact that we have perennial challenges with energy security, increasingly with water security, which is related, because years ago we made the decision that everybody must be on a piped water supply, which means that we're now committed to a program of pumping water up hillsides, which means that if our energy system goes down, our water system goes down too. In hindsight, perhaps that wasn't a very good decision. So we've got issues with energy, water security, and more generally food and access to resources. We live in a seismically active part of the world. We live in the hurricane belt. There's challenges with emerging exotic diseases, and of course we've got a background issue really serious now, as people have started to realize with climate change. You may have heard that this summer is the hottest ever recorded in Jamaica's history. And in fact, there's now real grounds for concern that we've gone past an irrevocable point, and that we will not ever revert back to the low temperatures of the past. So this is something that we may now have to make a permanent adjustment to.
I'm Jean Laurichin, and I'm the Executive Director of ProCom, ProDev, and CCRP. BATV had heard about our outreach arm, which is a Caribbean community of retired persons. I think BATV is having a very positive impact. And as a result of that excellent feature, we got more members. So clearly people are watching BATV. I always say to my clients, you should have a 360-degree campaign. Do not limit yourself to one media house. And especially those who are in business, I think it's very important to include BATV in their portfolio.
Your business matters. Promote it on Business Access TV.
One of our highest priorities of the U.S. government in Jamaica is to work with our counterparts to interdict Jamaican and Caribbean-based transnational criminal activity, including narcotics and arms trafficking, trafficking in persons, and financial fraud targeting U.S. citizens. The U.S. government has also invested heavily in supporting anti-corruption initiatives with the civil society and Jamaican government, as well as supported improvements in the justice system. In total, the U.S. government invests about $12 million in security-related programming annually, which does not include all the various partnerships and collaborations that our various U.S. government agencies have with their counterparts. In fact, USA Jamaica just advertised a broad agency announcement to co-design our flagship community violence prevention activity with key stakeholders such as the government, academia, and private sector. This unique co-creation approach encourages key stakeholders to co-create and deliver the services that are vital to prevent youth crime and violence at the community level. Law enforcement and criminal justice are important to controlling crime, as we all know, and corruption. But we also have to address the underlying social challenges that both cause and contribute to crime. Within the broad range of U.S. cooperation on crime, and this is where USAID comes in, we partner with the government and civil society on a range of programs to address the root causes of crime in Jamaica. So in the area of community safety and security, and building upon past successes with community-based policing, USAID focuses on the strengthening of community-based and civil society organizations, the promotion of community-driven activities, the development of long-term champions of a culture of lawfulness, and the enhancement of ministries, departments, and agencies of the state to be more community-oriented institutions. In this way, we believe that we contribute to building safer communities, strengthening social cohesion, and improving civic engagement participation. USAID also works with holistic youth-friendly approaches that aims to assist at-risk youth in becoming active citizens through the engagement of different social, educational, behavioral, and recreational activities. This approach includes 3 main areas regarding youth involved in criminality: prevention, intervention, and rehabilitation, including diversion activities as alternatives to traditional incarceration for first-time offenders. Youth also develop skills through educational programs which introduce them to fundamental concepts in business, economics, individual accountability, and entrepreneurship. USAID expects that life skills and technical training will increase opportunities for at-risk youth to work within the legitimate economy, thereby reducing the likelihood of involvement in gang and criminal activity. In Jamaica, relationships with key public sector, private sector, and donor agency partners are being leveraged to create programs to build skills and to identify work options for youth. USAID also works in the youth remandee centers, which includes case management follow-up to facilitate at-risk youth acquiring job and education opportunities when they are released. In the area of corruption, the Combating Corruption in Jamaica project has not only built public demand for more effective action against corruption through awareness campaigns, but has also provided training to government and civil society partners to build capacity and increase advocacy. The project is expected to have an impact on the nation's capacity and the ability to effectively control instances of and attitudes towards corruption in general and political corruption in particular. So what's the role of the private sector in addressing the root causes? That's why we're all here today. Many of you are representing private sector organizations. How can the private sector be a key partner in addressing some of these root causes? Obviously, many of you are part of the community, and so you have an interest. Your companies are often affected by the high rates of crime and corruption. So it's important that government, international partners who support government, NGOs, and the private sector work together to address these issues. We've all been to various forums on issues surrounding crime in Jamaica. I think the private sector here needs to continue to ask itself what it is doing to address the issue. Clearly, advocacy is important to press for resources, accountability, and support in combating crime. But there's much more that can be done to invest in communities to make them safer and create opportunities for the next generation to be prosperous. Looking ahead, we welcome the opportunity to increase our engagement with the private sector on these challenges because of the energy and innovation that they typically bring to the table. USAID is a learning agency, and we are constantly exploring how to improve our work and increase our impact. So as we streamline our programs and look for new strategic partners, we invite the private sector to partner with us as we both work towards the common goal of helping Jamaicans thrive.
There's this sense of a godlike syndrome that during some transactions an oversight body must lap its tail or virtually hold its corner in the name of investment. There are different roles for each stakeholder. Each must stay in their lane and accept criticism when constructively made. On the contrary, ladies and gentlemen, potential investors, in fact, should be happy that the business environment observes the rule of law and that democracy flourishes with built-in checks and balances. If I were an investor about to enter Jamaica, it's incumbent on me and my handlers to look out for red flags and indicators of the environment. I name a few on a list that is not exhaustive. 1, determine the role of the oversight body. It must be effective, efficient, fearless, and it must be respected. What, if any, comment does the oversight body have to say on a process or an investment opportunity that you wish to enter? The engagement, ladies and gentlemen, of investors and investor confidence, existing and thriving, must be viewed on a virtual two-lane highway. That is a two-way street with rules and guidelines being applicable. 2. Does the police service support and protect local and non-Jamaican community members? Do they communicate with all persons? Are they accessible at all times? Maintain a presence that the visitor or citizen believes and recognizes that if they do wrong, they'll be detected. But lines of communication must always be in place. For too long in this blessed country, the notion exists that unless someone knows you and you not knowing them, nothing will happen. That needs to end. In a time of real emergency, the joke is told, unless you have on speed dial a member of the police force, the response time to a complaint is sometimes unacceptable. Another thing that I would think an investor would look for, there must be a criminal justice system that is efficient and effective, and we must congratulate the learned Chief Justice for the renaissance and the role of the DPP's office in the renaissance that is taking place now. But we must also have financial services, a banking system, healthcare facilities. They must be adequate, to name a few components. Importantly, ladies and gentlemen, on Jamaica's stock exchange record, Michael Reagan, writing in Bloomberg Business Week, January 18, 2019, states the Jamaican stock exchange is the world's best performing. Its outperformance over the past 5 years is even more striking. Jamaica's stocks have surged almost 300%, more than quadrupling the next best performing national benchmark and septupling the S&P Standard & Poor's 500's advance. I make bold to say that the very important successes must be highlighted, with all the negatives on crime and violence reported in the last 48 hours in Jamaica. Also, the awards in the tourism sector must also be celebrated. However, we must do better. Ladies and gentlemen, what are some of the solutions? Government agencies must work together all the time and set aside jealousies and petty matters which have no place in a professional setting. Interagency cooperation and collaboration must be emphasized and practiced. We must build bridges and stop tearing down, emasculating, and ridiculing persons. The fact that you do not agree is no reason to disrespect. Professionalism is non-negotiable. We must have a review of the timelines to review governance structures. Oftentimes, pieces of legislation give you 3 years to review a legislation. You see in 1 year, nothing is happening. The parliamentary caucus needs to do something about that. We must enhance whistleblowing regimes and encourage the discourse, changing the discourse to, in my words, informer for live. Stop saying informer for dead, informer for live. I must admit, I'm an informer. I'm a proud one. I'm an informer. Tell me something today, I'm going to tell the police tomorrow. We need to modernize the law enforcement units and bring outstanding laws into operation. We need public education to sensitize the world that the perception of corruption or actual is not a reflection of the overwhelming majority of law-abiding Jamaicans. We need to ensure that the police and our oversight bodies work to regain public trust. The police must maintain presence, not just in hotspots, but also generally. It will help to rebuild issues of insecurity. I pause here as I listen to Professor Clayton. In the last month, I visited Cayman. The police carry no guns. A year before, I went to Turks and Caicos. The police had no guns. I visited Grenada a few times. The police had no guns. They have their problems, but I felt safe. I am walking in this, my beloved country, and we're turning and looking behind us every minute. But our Caribbean neighbors and Professor Clayton showed us the figures. I feel safe. We need to look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close, I reiterate that the government of Jamaica, the ministries, the departments, the statutory bodies, to name a few, must work united to create that package, that which is seen by the outside world, with all the various components and elements that they look at, and which they consider, and which will have the effect to harness growth and encourage investor confidence. But most importantly, we must leave our partners with the belief that integrity is non-negotiable. Honesty is paramount, not by word of mouth, but by our actions. And despite our problems, crime and corruption, that they can and humbly should consider investing in our country to bring about change for good. Acknowledging that the improvement of the basic standards of life may have the effect of changing behavior, but I readily admit we can't legislate for good behavior.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
In respect of what it takes to inspire confidence, I'm a plain speaker, and I will say, I believe that what is happening in our country, education is the key. I believe that a lot of our children, some of those who come from environments where they are victims of poor and dysfunctional parenting, we need to reintroduce civics in all its forms back within the schools from the time of the basic school, because there are a lot of our children. People complain that, okay, are the schools not doing enough? But they may go to school, the teachers try their best, and they go back into an environment that is like a black hole of nothingness, because there's no value system, no values, positive values and attitudes. And yet if you take that child and you put that child in another environment, you have intervention, positive intervention, you would be surprised to see the beautiful diamond coming from the rough. So I'm really a big believer in education. Now, another pet peeve of mine is that, and I prosecute police officers, I do not subscribe to the throwing the baby with the bathwater approach. Everybody knows their functions best. But I am not a public official who believes, unless it is necessary in the interests of justice, to make gratuitous comments in terms of seeking to tear down my colleagues anywhere. And I am not into using speculation to put out there to join the call for crucify him, crucify her in the public domain, where you have the court of public opinion demanding, just like the little old ladies who were knitting at the time in The Tale of Two Cities and saying for the noblemen, chop off their heads. I am not into that. At the Director of Public Prosecution's office, we deal with two things: the law and evidence. Personal emotion, personalities, we are not into it. So even if the court of public opinion or any other opinion would like to see the guillotined head of an individual on a platter, if there is no evidence to prosecute, to mount a viable prosecution, then as a matter of law, we have to say so. And I will say, and it's the first time I'm saying it publicly, first time, and I say it with the greatest of respect, that this is why on occasion, when I've been asked privately, I have registered privately a concern when you have no firewall between agencies that both investigate and prosecute. Because if you are not careful, you run away in the court of public opinion, and the court of law has to catch up. And by the time it gets to court, after a lot of reputational damage has been done, when you look at it and the defense counsel gets up and says, they are putting the prosecution in limine to prove what is there. The judge asks, and when you pare away what is there, there's nothing there as a matter of law. So sometimes in the court of public opinion, the members of the public would want to see one thing, but both the police and I know that in the court of law, it's either you have to have cogent, credible, reliable, admissible evidence. If you don't have it, then no matter how egregious the conduct of an individual is, then you don't have a case. Then you have to look at the second layer in terms of governance and accountability. And this is where public opinion, civil society can force the government of the day to make sure that all the particular oversight agencies, that they have teeth, that they are well structured, and that the will, the political will is there to make sure that the teeth are not rickety in the oversight agencies, but they can stand up. In other words, if you put a piece of cane in the mouth of the teeth of that oversight agency, the teeth won't come out. It is the cane that will suffer damage.
Riveting perspectives and indeed sobering statistics coming from the AmCham empaneled team here at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Dodge & Global offers a CPA scholarship program to team members who join our team. A career in accountancy at Dodge & Global is a great choice and can offer you excellent job prospects. We believe that an accounting education is the greatest gift you can give yourself or anyone else. Few gifts make as significant an impact as the gift of an accountancy education with a job. It's a contribution that lasts a lifetime in the form of learning, opportunity, and success. Join our team and get the opportunity to be part of our CPA scholarship program. This scholarships awards program will be administered by the HR department of Dodge & Global. Requirements: first degree in accounting, employed at Dodge & Global, willing to pursue the CPA examination. Here's how to apply. Submit application to Staff Accountant, Dodge & Global. Email sa@dodgen.com.
My name is Henry Lowe. I'm the executive chairman of the Eden Gardens group of companies. Henry Lowe is an ordinary Jamaican man who grew up in a very modest family background, family of 10 children, a father who started off as a merchant tailor, got robbed several times in his business and had to change over to become a policeman in the municipal services. Of course, my mother, with 10 children, you can well imagine my mother had to be on hand to manage the family affairs. As far as I'm concerned, she's a minister of finance. She managed to care for the family of 10 children and to ensure that if there were wants, there were never needs. And if the needs came, she would get rid of those needs. People from Kingston usually say, I'm from under the clock. I was born under the clock, yes, I was. And my father was from Gordon Town, which is just up the road from Papine, and my mother was from Cavaliers, which again is not too far, it's just Upper St. Andrew. And so I had relatives around. But in the early years, because of the size of my family, an aunt of mine, who we always lovingly called Aunt Dell, she was married to a policeman. And they had 2 children, and they were young boys, and since I was about maybe 5 years older, she wanted me to come to keep their company.
A virtual assistant, which is basically an administrative assistant, but working online, growing exponentially, and also doing voiceover, which I love, right? So reading scripts, doing radio commercials, podcast commercials, whatever it is, and offering that service online. So I always tell people, if you have a voice, you can make money from it. And the great thing about the Jamaican accent, as we all know, it's loved all over the world, right? So people are always looking for someone with a Jamaican accent to do voiceover for them. So, you know, we have quite a few students here in Jamaica and across the world, I will say, that do voiceover as their offer that they put online, and they do extremely well. If you pay attention, and you'll start to pay attention now more that we're talking about it, if you pay attention to voicemail greetings, radio commercials, TV commercials, what you watch on TV, you will see that voiceover, which is basically someone reading a script and using their voice, is all over the place. When you start to pay attention, you'll be like, that's a voiceover, that's a voiceover. You're hearing it all over the place. There has to be someone doing those voiceovers, and why not you? So the business or the career of being a voice actor, right, or being a voiceover specialist is really growing, and it's really in high demand, and it's fairly easy to do.
So are there any prerequisites to apply to get training at Internet Income Jamaica? And what exactly do I need to become a voice actor?
So a lot of people think that, to offer your career online, you have to have certificates or a special degree, but that's not true. If you say you're an expert, in today's world, people don't look so much for certificates and degrees. They're looking for, do you have what I want? Yes, do you have what I want? So as a voice actor, you don't have to get a special certificate from, I don't even know where you would go to get one, right? You just have to prove, you just have to practice and prove, give a portfolio, show that you can do the work. So read a script, record yourself, have a good microphone, understand software that you need to use, and really put it out there. And when people see that, that's all you need as far as do you qualify for the work or not, right? Nobody's gonna be looking really to see if you have any special, did you get a master's degree in voiceover? No, it's about what skills do you have, what talents do you have, how do you present yourself, and is that what I need? That's what the business is gonna say. Is your voice what I need? If you come to us and you say, look, I wanna make money with my voice, I wanna make an extra $1,000, $2,000 US a month with my voice, I would tell you that you need a computer, an internet connection, a microphone, which you can get later, and that you should come to our class. Because in our class, what we do is we teach you really the skills that you need and the software that you need, and we give you the software in class in order to really master it, because it's not that hard. You're gonna take a script, read it into your computer, edit it, maybe add music, like background music to it, and send it off to the client. But sometimes people can get stuck in, well, how exactly do I do that? So we show you step by step how to do it, because we found that a lot of times as I'm saying to you, look, go on to Fiverr.com, put your portfolio up, put up an offer that says you do voiceover, but sometimes you need to spend time with the experts to really learn how to do it. So we find that when people come and they sit through a class and they get the knowledge that they need, they're off and running, they're good to go. So we always tell people, if you can figure it out yourself, fine. We're telling people all over, try it, go to Fiverr, try it. If you get stuck or if you just really want the shortcut and know how to do it, then come to our class where our trainers will really dig in with you and teach you how to do it. Prices range between $10,000 and $15,000, depends on if you register early. So our early birds are always about $10,000, $10,500. And when you pay that fee to come to class, you're in class with our trainers, you do all the work in class, and then what happens is after class is over, we have a Facebook group. Everybody's put into this Facebook group where they work with each other for the rest of their lives. So what we make sure happens is that when you come to class, that's just the beginning of your education and training. Our Facebook group, you have continued support. One thing that you'll notice in our Facebook group is that a lot of our students have too much work, so they'll outsource the work to other newer students. So someone will say, I have a voiceover that needs to be done, or I have 10 that need to be done, who can do it? So other than the $10,500 you're gonna pay to come to class, we don't charge you anything else. You get free lifetime support, we'll help you. You can call our office, message us on Facebook. That's where we do all of our support. And we don't charge anything extra. When you work online, the money's yours. We don't take any piece of it, nothing. We're an educational center. We're a training center. We want to train you how to make money on the internet. We teach you in a class, we support you. A lot of people always ask that, well, what percentage of our earnings do you get? And we're like, we don't take a percentage of your earnings. That's not what we're about. We're about pushing you to make money on the internet and celebrating your success. We have our classes once a month on average. Usually it depends on my travel schedule because I do teach this all over the world as well. So when our schedule is free, we schedule the events to be here in Jamaica when I'm here. So we do it on average once a month. You really have to go to our website, which is internetincomejamaica.com, or call our office to find out when our next classes are, because it's not like it's the first weekend of every month. It's the weekend when Alicia is not speaking somewhere else or teaching this somewhere else, because myself and all of our trainers, we try to get this message out to the world.
In terms of compensation, Alicia says it all depends on how much time one commits to working through the internet.
We see students make an average of 100 extra US dollars a month, all the way up to thousands of extra dollars a month. Our trainer and one of our students, Curtis, who you'll talk to and hear from as well, I'll let him tell you how much he's made, but he's almost made 3,000 US dollars in half a month. The thing that I love about this, absolutely love, is that you're earning in US dollars. So I'm a big fan of saying, look, earn in a currency that's higher than the currency you're gonna spend it in, right?
Coming up,
I've always been interested in acting in general. My interest in voice acting developed once I went to the Internet Income Boot Camp.
Internal audit. Internal audit service is vital when organizations aim to achieve reliable financial reports and regulatory compliance, navigating risks, streamlining operations, and promoting stakeholder confidence. The benefits of a high-quality internal audit are limitless, especially when you secure yours from a firm with deep industry experience, exposure to hundreds of organizations, dedicated professionals, and proven methodologies. Whether you're looking to establish an internal audit function, attain or maintain compliance with various regulations, mitigate your risk of fraud, or gain an overall assessment of your internal controls, you can count on Dodge & Global for reliable and timely business solutions. We've helped organizations nationwide and across industries to establish internal control structures, create an internal audit function, or improve an existing one, and maintain regulatory compliance. We provide ongoing education as regulations and public perceptions change. We are trusted advisors for management and boards. External auditors can be confident in our work and its results. Let Dodge & Global be a turnkey solution for your organization. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Meet Curtis Brown, a voice actor whose desperate attempts to make an honest income led him to find the answer in the talent he already possessed.
I am Curtis Brown, more popularly known as Curtis AAAA, voice actor, recording artist, and songwriter.
With a baby on the way and no stable income, Curtis was invited to an internet income workshop, which he said taught him how to become a millionaire in 3 days.
I went to Mavisville Prep, then I migrated and went to Samuel Gompers Vocational High School. I wanted to be a visual artist and architect. However, for some reason I didn't make it into the visual arts high school, which I wasn't really interested. I didn't even finish high school. I didn't go to college. Actually, while I was finishing high school, I had an unfortunate incident where I was attacked by a gang and I defended myself. In return, 2 people got hurt out of that 15 that attacked me. They turned around and pressed charges against me. I was deported to Jamaica at the age of 19. Now, my friends always look at me and tell me that most people who get deported, they're either selling oranges or mangoes or they turn into crime. Every day I hear it about the crime and the negative impact that deportees have on the country. There was a point where thinking about making $10,000 for the month almost seemed impossible, because I'm walking for miles all over, walking out shoes, skinny down to my bones, and I claim that I'm a voice artist and a songwriter. And you know, so everybody in Jamaica is an artist. So everything is ha ha ha. And even at that time, I was a rapper in the beginning. So it's even more ha 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 ha. So everybody laugh after me. Everybody say, yo, the youth, they're idiot. Youth, they're not gonna away. Youth, then just a waste him time. I've always been interested in acting in general. My interest in voice acting developed once I went to the Internet Income Boot Camp and started working on Fiverr. That's when I really developed my voice acting career. A voice actor working from home need to have a voice. Pretty much that's the main thing. You don't have to have such a wonderful voice. The beauty about being a voice actor is every voice is different and everyone has their own unique voice. So every voice has a place. I don't know if you ever watched the movie Happy Feet, I think, the movie with the penguins. My son watches it all the time. You have everybody else singing and you have that one penguin that taps his feet. You can actually tap your feet, or I've gotten jobs to make music with my mouth and compose a whole instrumental. So there's no bad voice. You need a microphone. I have a very inexpensive microphone here. You can even use one of those headsets and one of those little computer mics. And so you pretty much need a voice and something to record your voice. You can use a laptop. Most laptops have microphones in them, so that's all you need to get started. As you progress and as your income grows, you can invest in your business, because anybody who is sensible, once you have a business and it's pulling in a good income, then you're gonna wanna invest, buy better equipment, compete with people who are better and keep moving up. There's two sides to the business. There's a traditional voice acting business where you would get up, you would go to auditions, you'd audition probably 100 gigs and you probably get 1 or 2, but it's a lot different from me. I don't have to do any auditions because I'm on a website that directs traffic to me. When the clients come in, they see my profile, they see what I'm capable of doing. I have my work on display. I have a sample on display where I'm already singing a song. So they pretty much, most of the messages that I get, they are, hey, I love your voice. I'd love to work with you. You're amazing. So there's not much for me to do after that. After that, I pretty much just do whatever they request. It's just as simple as that. So if they ask me to sing a line, I just go right along. I sit down, I sing the line. It's that simple. Sometimes I will ask them for a sample, for them to send me an audio of what they would like it to sound like, and then I'd pretty much reenact that. Oh, I think that I found someone to sing my song. Curtis Brown will be there when you need him. A day for me, I wake up at maybe 12 p.m. I'm just kidding. I don't wake up at 12 p.m. I wake up at probably 5:30. I go, I take a jog. I come back from my run, I check my phone, and I would probably have 3 or 4 messages for the morning with requests for gigs, people inquiring about what can I do and the rates for it. I reply to the messages, whichever messages convert into a sales. Later on that day, probably around 4:30, I will go around my computer for about 1 to 3 hours, and that's when I do recording for anywhere between 1 to 3 hours recording a day. So I pretty much work for like 3 hours a day. I've done infomercials for The Gap, I've been requested by major recording artists, Billboard artists, as a ghostwriter. I've done ghost artists as a ghost rapper, me rapping and someone else pretending to be me. I've met Australian producers from New York. I've worked with TV companies. I've worked with clothing brands. I've met people from all walks of life and pretty much every continent on the work. I've worked for people pretty much from every continent. I've done stuff locally where I did the Juicy Beef campaign. So put a smile on your face and get in the mood. Serious Jamaican food and one for St. Mary's. I've done work with the National Drug Abuse Council. Over 40,000 for a less than a 30-second commercial. And so that's just one job. And then when it goes over into my personal business online, I can make anywhere from, well, now I average 800 US per month. That's just like my regular income. But it's from 800 US to like this month I'm looking at $3,000 so US dollars. So working 3 hours a day. So if anybody thought voice acting is not a viable career, then they need to think again. But that's not really the high point. The highest point of that is, I can't call the exact name, but think the #1 female rapper in the world. I was requested to write a song for her. So that's pretty much the high point of this so far.
Coming up,
you have to keep your work on time. You have to make sure that you're getting excellent reviews. You have to make sure that the word of mouth about your brand and your company is excellent. So you have to always provide high quality work.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
This is Caroline Smith, marketing implementer for Sol Western Caribbean for Shell Lubricants, and you're watching Business Access TV, and they are serious about business.
providing voiceovers through the internet may seem simple, but as Curtis highlights, you'd be an entrepreneur, and to be successful takes the same level of professionalism as any traditional job.
The misconception about this profession is that it's easy. It sounds easy, it is fairly easy, but nothing in life is truly easy. I would say that because it takes discipline, it takes dedication, it takes patience. Not every month might start off the same. In the beginning, in the initial stages, you might not get going right away. I've had people that ask me to help them to get into the business, and I help them to get into the business, and they never get started. Why? Because they go 2 weeks, they go a week searching for work, and they don't get any work after a week or 2 weeks, and they give up. It takes faith. Yeah, you need faith in this business. You can miss deadlines if you're not disciplined, if you're not serious. Maybe if you have to outsource work, which I do have to do sometimes. Sometimes when I outsource work, the work tends to come back late after the deadline. Say for instance, I have to work with a partner on a project. Some people don't understand time and time management and delivering product on time. So you can run into problems in that situation. So you have to be disciplined to know that I am my own boss and I'm in control here. But you also have to know that there is no set income, and that you need to have a sustainable business for months and years to come. And that relies on customer recommendation and customer reviews. So you have to keep your work on time. You have to make sure that you're getting excellent reviews. You have to make sure that the word of mouth about your brand and your company is excellent. So you have to always provide high quality work. That's one thing. When you're working for yourself, some people can say, oh, I could just do this real quick. They're not paying me enough, stuff like that. But it comes down to quality control. You don't have a manager checking the quality of your work. So you have to keep that in mind to make sure that the quality of your work is up to international standards. So if somebody comes to me this month and they get a voice acting gig where I'm doing a cartoon or I'm doing a message for the voicemail and the quality is not there, the work wasn't delivered on time, then the next month they won't be coming back. But not just that, they're going to leave a review. This is the internet. This is a different age of business. People are leaving reviews now. So they're gonna write, this guy is poor, this guy is horrible, this guy handed in my work late, his voice is not good as he said, all this expert that he claims to be, he's not this expert, and that can hurt your business. I actually had one client that gave me a bad review. It wasn't an honest review, and it did affect business for like the following 2 months, because everyone else who came, even though they saw 20 or 30 positive reviews, that one negative review made them think twice, and they use other people. So it took me a while. I had to drop my rates. I had to start over from the beginning, start getting good reviews again until I did damage control and got that bad review out of the view of the reviews.
According to Curtis, his career is growing and should be considered as a very viable career option to job seekers. Here's his advice.
You're vocally in your prime, anywhere between ages 25 to 40, and you can go all the way up to your late 80s if you practice proper vocal hygiene and exercise. You can do it pretty much till you die as long as you have a voice. So that's a long career, and you're not doing rigorously hard labor, so there's not much wear and tear on your body. Once you learn how to take care of your voice, learn how to deal with your voice, your career can last until you die. My whole life, my family has told me, you need a backup plan, you need a backup plan. And I'm like, no, my backup plan is my main plan. And I've always stuck to it. I've never settled, I've never decided that I'm gonna have a backup plan. I had one career, and my one career was entertainment, voice acting, recording artist, songwriting. With voice acting, it's a very, very viable career. My father is one who compared that stuff. My mother, traditionally, now when they see my income, now when they see what I'm doing monthly, they have a whole different outlook and respect for it.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
It goes by many names: marijuana, ganja, cannabis, or kush, just to name a few. But whatever you call it, people will immediately know what plant you speak of. The Good Life this week takes you to the Stepping High Ganja Festival in Negril.
You know that Jamaica have a very long history of ganja, long before what people actually popularized today. You know, for example, people argue that ganja came across with Indians and came over as indentured laborers, see? So hence the word of indica and ganja from river Ganges. However, ganja has always been here, so you have to use a different kind of lens. Meaning now, if you review work by like Van Sertima, they came before Columbus. People always coming to the Caribbean long before Columbus. And Jamaica was always a central space. It was a very important navigational space today. And from pirate time, it was also a very important navigational space. That's why we have the first navigational school in Jamaica by the Caribbean Maritime Institute. Now, what's the point I'm making there? The point I'm making is because ganja was such a trading thing across the world. Across the world. And however, it became more recognizable and popular when people started to come here as enslaved persons and also as indentured laborers, because both of those persons were actually using the plant. So there's always an integration with herb and agriculture. But over time, as they start to make herb become more criminal, which means that the state started to lock up people more in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, you know, the whole thing, it kind of shifts. You know, so you find out that while we were still planting herb, we know if we have practiced some integrated farming, not because we just know that integrated farming is what you should do. We have the integrated farming for hide the herb. So I would have plant herb and I plant gungo peas or I plant okra on it, because if you look from overhead and the herb that the gungo peas and the okra, it don't look so obvious. Now the ganja farmer is the only man in Jamaica who was practicing those things, you know. By what? Out of necessity. So as Rastafari start to use more herb, you have more fight taking place against the herb. So it is a thing where the history has been whereby the formal structure is anti-herb, not because they're anti-a-plant, but because they're anti-a-mindset. But because Rastafari use a lot of herb now, and herb stimulate certain parts of your brain, and people know that your body is designed with what we call an endocannabinoid system, you know, from your head to your toe. And the parts of your body that have the most of those receptors is what your liver and your brain, especially in part of the rhinoceros and the ancient part of your brain and the central part of your brain as well, the part that deal with this feel-good, esoteric kind of vibes and things, you know what I mean? And that is what drives and supports that of the way Rastafari people think. Hence the concept of being airy and the concept of being of one love and being with nature and all those things. That is not the Rasta people alone. The same ancient Indian people who use herb, they don't do the same thing. The people who were Essenes, from which them say Yahusha come from, is the Jesus story. They are herb people. So them say them anoint him head with oil. Him seventh chakra, him crown chakra. It's herb them use, it's not olive oil them use, it's ganja oil them use. See? All these stories that people hear, ganja oil is a very important part of those processes for health and wellness and healing. So it's like it's just something where Rasta people come up with, like you have what you call a Columbus syndrome, you discover things that already exist. No. The thing is that Rastafari, we are way into this consciousness of this plant and uses it. And then using it also away other people. It's like you unlock your chakras or your DNA, so people start to remember these things and start to use the plant and actually feel a particular way about it. One of the first functions of ganja is to build your immune system against ultraviolet rays. So it means then that ganja is one of the plants that you use to do what? Prevent most of the cancers, if not all of the cancers. So all the research has shown that ganja is good for cancer fighting its functions, such as THC. And you ask yourself, what is the leading killer of people in the world today? It's stress. Herb is a plant, THC in particular, it removes stress. It transforms energy from one negative way into an next positive. That's what it's about. It's not no new energy. You shift, you focus, and start to see things in a very different kind of way. So you don't see no problem, you know. You see, needs that are unsolved, which means that there are opportunities to solve those needs by doing what? Providing a good service. So the lens through which you see things becomes different. And unfortunately, within our own system, we have this big opportunity. But the lens through which we see it is the same old colonial lens. CDB is used to treat things that have to do with psychosis. That research came out of England. Yes? That's why there's a great demand for CDB herb in Europe, because the leading killer of people in Europe and America is now what? Dementia-related illnesses. Parkinson, Alzheimer's. That's M1, CDB, and not THC. You have CBN, which is to stimulate appetite. So people who have cancers and all of these other issues and eating disorders will want the CBN. But it's also good for all the olfactory senses, you know. Ears, nose, and throat. So everything you do with your lung, everything you do with your ears, everything in the nose and throat, because it what? It opens up a thing. The plant itself, in terms of the seed, have two of the most important fatty acids for your brain, which is called linoleic and linoleic, in the 1-to-3 ratio, the exact ratio in your brain. The only other plant that comes close to that is linseed, which has now 1-to-4 ratio. Most of these problems that people have, the plant is good for it. Ask them which other plant your body is designed to use. You just ask them, which other plant your body developed themselves 50 million years ago. All beings on the earth develop an endocannabinoid system. Not man alone. Dog, puss, rat, bird, everything. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to really see what the research is saying. What the research is saying. It's good for everything. But it's now, we don't ready to own people's brain now. Especially people who are going to say mad people like Rasta. Or the Rasta by say, okay, herb is the healing of the nation, and herb is this. Or Tosh sing about it as a bush doctor and say, boy, it's good for this, and lawyer smoke it. Remember too, you know. Many places people use herb, and we don't just use ganja. We use different kind of herb. And this is part of the problem, because when them started to fight ganja, technically them started to fight every kind of natural consumption of other herbs as well. So a man have a headache, I don't want no rosemary, I don't want no almond leaf, because it's herbs, and you have to know how much you have to take, and suppose it poison you, and you must take a Fensic, you know. And then give everybody the same prescription, 2 Fensic, but yes, all their structure different. So the same 2 Fensic for solve every problem for everybody. You have something in your stomach that want to clear out, you don't take no verb, no dark blood. You can take a leave, and then them announce by the TV, some have a call him back a leave, because kill off beer people are foreign. Foolishness.
Don't go anywhere. The Good Life will be right back.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Welcome back to The Good Life, where we are exploring the benefits of ganja with Dr. Kadamawe Knife. He shares his knowledge based on extensive research on the plant and some of his opinions on Jamaica's response to the growing worldwide use of ganja.
We now learn that there's a high demand for CBD plants in the world, which is in the Euro-American world. And what we know is that we're focusing so much on that technically we start to make the part that we have the advantage in almost criminal. If you have a lot of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's in Europe, they want CDB in the herb. Now, if you understand the ganja plant, CDB is naturally, it don't occur in plants in a naturally high amount, you know. But it's still an amount that can treat some of those things. What they're doing now is to take the plant into the lab to create a plant that has high levels of CDB and low levels of THC. It is the first concern that we have with those kind of herbs and things. Nonetheless, I am saying if the plant itself can produce pharmaceutical products that can treat those things, well, you can do it. However, know that you must make concurrently. But the thing that not naturally happen in the country, but the thing that you try to promote. Jamaica is known internationally for what? Pharmaceuticals? No. We're known internationally for being a wellness space. So if you ask a man, tell me some Jamaican word. All of the word relate to feeling good about yourself. Some man are going to say irie, you might say love. You must say all of these things because the country is known for wellness. And we'll see where it comes from. See, now if you listen to Ed Bartlett test, when they do the assessment of what words trigger people to come to Jamaica. Love, food, and music. And can't say ganja tree, my minister. So we're not using that opportunity and so we have a win-win scenario where everybody can benefit, whether you are a foreign direct investor or a local person. See, at a macro or a micro level, we turn it to what we call a zero-sum game, which means that if some people are going to win, like the pharmaceutical people, it means that the people who do the things organically are going to lose. And that don't make no sense.
When it's green, you squeeze the juice from it, it's the best for eye. It's kill all cataract and everything.
Now, I argue that we need to standardize and regularize. It is much more difficult to standardize and regularize things for the pharmaceutical industry than it is for the food industry. And SRC and the Bureau of Standards are some master industries, some master institutions that can help us to standardize these things. See? So when we hear them argue about edibles, I know edibles is this and edibles is that. It shows you how almost backward the people can be. THC is amplified by heat. So therefore, if you cook herb, it magnifies the amount of THC that's within that thing that you eat. So what does that mean? Does that mean that there's a problem in using herb in the food? No. It means then we can get a lot more from the same herb than we actually do now. When I say shift focus, when I say broaden your focus and don't be myopic in what you're doing, don't be a copy bugger. And the bigger part of the industry is the wellness part, it's not the pharmaceutical part. That is why we talk about functional food. We're not talking about nutraceuticals alone, you know, because they still want to make nutraceuticals sound like it's pharmaceuticals. It's like nutraceuticals is taking the active out of a plant, whether it be ganja, ginger, whatever. Functional food is using the actives in things for consumption, which means then I can make, and I like to use this example, I can make a chocolate from Highgate, which is a nice brand chocolate, and infuse it with something like a CBN, which is an active in ganja plant. See? Or THC, CBN because it stimulates appetite. So I target people who know they need to eat food but want something nice to take to eat food. People who have AIDS and cancer and anorexia. So you want to eat that chocolate, it really tastes good, but when you eat it now, that makes you want to eat other food as well. So again, you have to take a regular tablet. Or use THC with things like rosemary and almond leaf as what? Just as people buy St. John's wort to reduce stress. We use it that way there. Remove all of your stress. You can put it in anything. I can use the same starting from the ganja plant and make incense and create incense. And what is the beauty about this? You can do this at all 3 levels. It's the only plant you can do it at 3 levels now. And Jamaica, you can do it at the community level in terms of branding, the parish level, as well as the national level. Because if you understand ganja in Jamaica, people will argue that Sunny Hill in St. Thomas is a place that plant good herb. But a man takes a Green Hill and Orange Hill plant good herb. A man takes a Bull Savannah plant good herb. Or Lucky Valley in St. Andrew plant good herb. Or the best herb usually plant in St. Andrew in the 1980s. So wait I tell you. At different points in time, people say the best herb plant in different places in Jamaica, which means that the best herb plant in Jamaica, there's a people that tell you we can plant the best herb anywhere in Jamaica. Now, can you imagine the amount of branding that you can take, that you can use across the island? You have to realize what opportunities are. I'm not fighting a pharmaceutical now, but I tell you, look at what we can do with branding. Man is the only animal that cook food and eat. Rastafari is free meditation. Every man have a right to decide their own destiny, man. The person who can tell how to live is yourself. See? So I say, I don't want no food by the fire. Somebody don't do it. Rastafari says life. And so we find out when you put fire upon the food, you take out some of the life out of it. So you want to get the full life by food, eat it without putting fire upon it. But you still can't tell a man how to live, you know. So I'm going to tell you, watch you know, you stop eating cooked food. You still have to work And the ganja seed is one of the best things to eat. So with I know it's sativa herb for promote. 6 to 9 months, ital herb. See, I'm going to take it serious because remember the whole of my apple design for use herb, you know. So it means that you must put the best thing inside your system. So a long time herb, the rest of the plant is the best herb to use. All these things that them come up with, no, it's just like some of the food now. See, so a long time people usually eat free-range chicken. We take long and put a nail there for themselves to cook him. You don't want that, no, you want a chicken, which is a baby chicken. We take 6 weeks, I end up with arsenic and all kinds of things, give people fibroids. They same with the herb. Them don't want a 6 to 9 month herb, so they start grow some short day herb, some short breed herb. 8 weeks. Where the man have to alter the seed to increase the amount of THC. Why? Because THC is stimulated by sunlight. So the longer the exposure of the plant in the sunlight is the more THC. So if you want to get the same amount of THC in a shorter period of time, what you have to do? Change the structure of the plant. So indica is not the area plant to use, as far as I'm concerned. If you understand plant science, plants work in a holistic way. When you start to take and separate plants, it becomes less effective. When you steam the herb now, it goes into your lung directly, which means then, when your blood is passing through that vein, that is passes through your lung and it's being oxygenated, it takes up the herb immediately. So it's the fastest way of getting herb inside your system, you know. It's not an injection, because when you get an injection, it don't go in your vein directly, you know. It goes on the skin and tries to find its way into your vein. So the most effective way of getting herb into your system quickly, and another way that is at the least amount of carbon, as far as I'm concerned, is through steaming. But the argument about smoking herb can kill a problem. No, man, that's just something which is just false information. THC actually builds back the wall of your lung and repair the wall of your lung. So the concern about smoking can't let you're going to get sick from smoking herb. Just that the concern, you say, okay, you don't want to put no more carbon inside of your system, which you don't need to. And so I ask people if you smoke a spliff every day, see? And how much spliff a day you smoke? I'm going to say 2 spliff or 3 spliff a day. But that's 365 times 2. That's almost 700 piece of paper you smoke for the year. So you really don't need to be smoking no paper. But you know some people make hemp, Rizla. So all those things are there. Now, some people say the carbon might be the concern. My other concern about smoking is that it is not economical. Because when you go to light a spliff or light a chalice, most of the herb gone in the ear and less gone inside of you. So we don't smoke no herb, we just steam the herb. See, and it's not no magic we are doing, you know. A long time people do that, man. It's like when you bake pudding and put the fire up on top of it. See? So you have something that separates the fire from the herb. And when you pull it, the heat from it passes through the herb. It cools down the water and condenses. It's aromatherapy. You can use it with any plant you want. Now, that is more efficient. There's almost 0 carbon because anything that comes through is captured in the water. This is what a long time bingy man them usually, you know. Now, when you eat herb, it goes on your digestive system and takes a longer time to start to break down, but it stays longer in your system now. Okay, it starts to release more slowly. That's why when people cook herb and it's in your gut for a long while, it release slowly, so you feel that kind of feeling for a much longer period of time. You know, say a man who smoke herb don't like smoke herb in a public space. They like going down space, they have him create his own space. And naturally we know that. We don't want no cigarette smoking, we don't want no jerk pan smoking, we don't want no car smoking, and we don't want no herb smoking in no public space. Because people respond different to those things and things still, see? So, we don't want no designated smoking area either. Yeah, we don't want that. I mean, because the attempt says that, say, if you think that smoking is bad, why you designate place for them to smoke? You've been a hypocrite. Go find somewhere by yourself. Go smoke if you want. Don't create a nuisance for people. And things to you. See how in a private space, you do what you want to do.
Don't go anywhere. The Good Life will be right back. Cameo takes you behind the scenes of Jamaica's exploding creative industries to give you an insider's look at how creatives get the job done.
I'm really picky about how we treat our customers.
As creative people, we went a little bit over the top.
Each week, we interview innovators leading the charge in their industry. The chaos of creativity meets the stricture of structure on Business Access TV's Cameo. Welcome back to The Good Life. We wrap things up with Dr. Kadamawe Knife as he shares his concerns with the current state of the industry and gives his final thoughts on what he believes could promote and grow the industry in Jamaica and, by extension, the Caribbean.
I will argue that imported bad food and lifestyle practices kill more people in Jamaica than gunshot. Less than 3,000 people dead last year from gunshot. And in 2016, more than 15,000 people dead from diabetes alone. 15,000 people, I mean, not talk high blood pressure and heart disease yet. I mean, there's no big strategy as to how we are going to halt that. I do appreciate some years, some of the things I say, boy, drink more water and less sugar, because so I see them talk some things. But I say, it's all there was a big strategy to fight crime and lack of people. But there's no big strategy now to fight down the crime and now we are killing people, which is through food. Now, the point we're making though is that if we start to do ganja as agriculture and use it now as a catalyst, we start getting people starting with ganja with health and wellness and agriculture that kind of way, you start to address not only economic issues, but health issues as well. Because if you are plant food and not plant clean food, the people must get less sick. Must. We should say, okay, our focus on building out what we have, which is and them disrespectful, but I call it recreational. We have the wellness part of the industry, in the ganja industry. And we're going to expand it to facilitate the pharmaceutical component. So those who want to do the pharmaceuticals can deal with it, but we are going to focus our money and energy on the wellness component. So you're trying to take a lead in an area that you can't lead in, while neglecting the area that you already lead in. I'm telling you, any guy who come to this space without have a strong right as a bonus split. Right as with the same cool breeze we are distributing interview with. It's a one of the best experience. To bonus split and then go buy food from the people might eat. I tell you, I'm going to tell him grandpa about that story, you know. Say about telling grandpa to take a ganja tablet. That's just a story. There's medication they're taking, man. Enough name out there. Them like to categorize them as skunk and kush. We have all 20 different skunk names or 20 different kush names. What we want to grow is a particular strain of herb, which is a sativa. So you have the broad categories of sativa and indica. We are promoting sativa herb, the 6 to 9 months herb. Ital, that means you don't put anything pan that come from animal, it's plant alone grow it. That's how to promote it. See? Now, Jamaica should have things like them called goat shit and lamb's bread and all different kind of herbs that are sativa herb as well, thyme herb. But those were destroyed. The same thing. Some seeds still exist, so we focus on getting those seeds. Now, nowadays, you have all kind of skunk herb because the license itself is prohibitive and it shows that they don't really understand what they want to move. Because the licensing process is required because they're doing what? Pharmaceutical ganja. I've been doing pharmaceutical ganja because of the regulations for production. You have to get all of these things in place. So that is for one section of the economy. Now the part that we're speaking about the wellness doesn't require those things. So we'll argue. That's how we have a man with a bar who says that he might get the license at whatever. The same thing I do with the herb people who are involved in these kind of things at the community level. But I think it's important to regularize it. Someone, the man within the community knows him have the best herbs that sell. I'm putting them jar and him, you know, make it airy and official. But the while like it's a hide thing at the pan and then it's a hustling. No. Make people know it's free for do it so you can do it properly, man. Because you know Jamaican people like to present them thing properly too, you know. So don't make it look like it's a gym screechy thing. Give them the same kind of freedom. What's the what you know, you have to have them standard there, you know. You can't sell the herb in a plastic bag because the herb eat up in the plastic bag, put in a glass jars. And put in a dark glass jar because it make the herb stay long and you know, show them how to do it properly and thing. Now when you check it now, $10,000 for your distribution of what? 10,000 US, you know, not 10,000 Jamaican. The prices are not even quoted in Jamaica, they're quoted in US, so it's can't be your target. So there's a different kind of thinking surrounding that component. And that's what I'm talking about the dual space. You have to have your pharmaceutical space, you put those restrictions here. But the wellness part that relates to Jamaica, you don't put those restrictions, but you put standards and quality control. So who knows if you have an edible, we know say the Bureau of Standard passed and SRC help you the formulation for you know say alright, you have the right amount of things inside there. Get rather the strength now for coming through the marketing and them home economic thing, for come show them how to do the thing using the standards. You know? Make it happen properly. Herb, like we call high altitude and long exposure to sunlight. Jamaica have over 10 hours of sunlight, we have high altitude with a volcanic space. Remember, say we call it volcanic because it means we have a lot more minerals in our earth than places that are not volcanic. Because when you have volcano, we do carry precious minerals from the core come up to the surface. So it's just good earth we have now. We have enough gold and diamond in Jamaica, enough crystals. Because we're volcanic, it means that because we have the high altitude and long exposure, our ganja, once it is exposed to the sun, it's going to be much, much better. But across the Caribbean, while they might not be like Jamaica, but you have places that can do similar things. St. Lucia, which is mountainous. Dominica, which is mountainous. Haiti, which was mountainous, would have been good places to plant. Herb forget highs of THC. Montserrat might be good to plant. Definitely good to plant herb with high THC because it's also mountainous and also have good exposure to sunlight. Barbados, Cayman, Antigua, which are flat places, might be better to actually plant herb to get seed as food or forget fiber. Now they could have plant hemp though, you know. You know what I mean? Because them flats of them THC level not gonna be too high. A place like Guyana, Belize, Suriname can look at planting the industrial plant which is hemp. So the mountainous places plant the female and the flat places plant the semi-male female and the mainland places plant the male which is the hemp. So the region itself can control the entire value chain of the industry from both male and female. The Caribbean. Well, we know that Jamaica is in the Caribbean, but Jamaica is the only real Caribbean country. You know? We know the center of the Caribbean there's a certain level of magnetism in the earth, and the earth is electrical and magnetic, it's bioelectrical and magnetic. So you can't underplay the importance of the magnetic currents that surround the earth with all those things happening and things still. So you see, I'm not on ganja alone. I mean, all our food, the food levels, the taste, it's like it accentuates. And you know, the research that actually showed that Jamaica have higher levels of heavy metal in them earth though, which was a concern. But we realized that when you put in the water, the heavy metal dissipates. This is not a problem anymore. So remember, this is a good life now. It's important for people know that you only have one life to live. See? So you have to live healthy. Do the thing that you know is right. Be serious about it, man. Live well and live the good life, you know?
In this 1 degree, you're able to do many things.
I think the field found me.
I'd rather work with the deceased than work with the living.
Let us open your mind to careers you've never considered.
Miniature model maker.
Game technician.
Animator.
Good job. Empowerment.
Career moves.
Anywhere money is, that's where I am.
My name is Herbert Chung, Executive Chairman, Co-Founder, Honeybun 1982 Limited. You're watching Business Access TV. Serious about it.